The alien warlord looked down at the human prisoner and laughed. "You," he said, "your species is weak." Fragile, soft, around him, thousands of alien soldiers laughed as well. The human said nothing. He simply looked toward the sky. Moments later, every ship in orbit exploded. Every weapon system failed. And from the burning clouds descended something the galaxy had never seen before. 7 armored giants, 3 meters tall, walking through fire, walking through explosions, walking through death itself. The warlord's smile vanished. The human finally spoke. "You spent centuries studying humanity." He pointed at the approaching warriors. "But you never learned what happens when we stop holding back." For most of galactic history, humanity was a joke. Not an enemy, not a threat. A joke. The galaxy was filled with species that were stronger, faster, smarter, or older than humans. The Carthans could tear steel apart with their bare hands. The Illyrians possessed limited psychic abilities. The Vex calculated probabilities faster than most supercomputers. Compared to them, humans appeared unimpressive. No claws, no scales, no natural armor, no venom, no telepathy, no superior senses, just soft skin and stubborn determination. Most species viewed humanity as a historical accident. The Galactic Council often used Earth as an example of statistical impossibility. Humans should never have survived long enough to reach the stars. Yet somehow, they had. Every prediction of their collapse had failed. Every expectation of extinction had failed. Every crisis had only made them stronger. But the galaxy misunderstood why. They assumed humans survived because they were lucky. Humans knew the truth. They survived because they adapted. And adaptation could become something terrifying. The Galactic Council met on the world of Aethon. The chamber itself was enormous. Thousands of representatives from hundreds of civilizations occupied floating platforms suspended around a glowing map of known space. At the center stood Earth's ambassador, Sarah Morgan. She wore a simple dark uniform. No decorative armor, no ceremonial weapons, nothing intended to impress. That alone amused many delegates. The Carthan representative leaned forward. His armored hide reflected the chamber lights. "Earth once again requests full council membership?" Sarah nodded. "Correct." Laughter spread through the chamber. The Carthan smiled. "And what exactly does humanity offer the galaxy?" Sarah remained calm. The question was familiar. Humans had been hearing variations of it for centuries. "What do you contribute? Why should we trust you? What makes you special?" Sarah answered exactly as she always did. "Solutions." The laughter became louder. Several delegates openly mocked her. The Vex representative shook his head. "Humanity has existed on the galactic stage for only 63 years. An Illyrian added, "You possess no extraordinary advantages." Another delegate spoke. "You are insignificant compared to the established powers." Sarah listened patiently. Then she smiled. "We've heard that before." The council speaker raised a hand. Silence returned. The request is denied. A vote followed. The result was predictable. Humanity remained outside the highest ranks of galactic civilization. Sarah simply nodded. No argument, no protest, no anger. As she left the chamber, one young aide asked, "Doesn't that bother you?" Sarah looked back at the enormous council. "Not really." "Why?" She smiled. "Because one day they'll need us." 6 months later, the first colony vanished. Not attacked, not conquered. Vanished, an entire star system simply stopped communicating. Rescue ships arrived. Nothing remained. No debris, no survivors, no signs of battle, just empty space. The council dismissed it as an anomaly. Then another colony disappeared. Then another. Then 3 more. Panic began spreading across the frontier. Entire populations were being erased. Military patrols sent to investigate never returned. Long-range probes vanished. Scientific expeditions disappeared. Even heavily armed warships stopped responding. The phenomenon became known as the silence. Nobody understood it. Nobody could stop it. Within a year, 27 systems had been lost. The galaxy finally realized it was facing something unprecedented. Emergency meetings were called, fleets mobilized, defensive alliances formed. But every strategy failed because nobody knew what they were fighting. Then came the first survivor. A damaged mining vessel drifted into Carthan space. Its hull looked as though it had been clawed apart by something enormous. Only one crew member remained alive. He spent 3 hours screaming before anyone understood his words. His testimony changed everything. There were thousands of them, living ships, black as space. They consumed everything. Planets, stations, people, everything. The witness died minutes later. The galaxy finally had a name for the threat. The Devourers. And they were coming. When news reached Earth, governments across the planet reacted immediately. Not with panic, not with surprise. Preparation. Deep beneath the Himalayas, hidden behind centuries of secrecy, ancient doors began opening. Facilities dormant for generations came alive. Automated systems awakened. Artificial intelligences activated. Military officers received encrypted orders. Most citizens never noticed. To them, life continued normally. But inside the hidden complexes, humanity was preparing for war. A war they had expected for hundreds of years. General Marcus Hale stood inside one of the deepest facilities ever constructed. Rows of cryogenic chambers stretched into darkness. Thousands of them. Each chamber contained a giant. The Space Orcs. The name had begun as a joke centuries earlier. Human soldiers operating alongside alien allies had been compared to mythical monsters from ancient fantasy stories. The nickname stuck. Then, the program itself adopted the title. Space Orc. A human optimized for survival. Enhanced beyond anything the galaxy considered possible. Not because humanity wanted conquerors. Because humanity feared extinction. And now extinction was knocking on the galaxy's door. Marcus activated the primary chamber. Warning lights illuminated the vault. Ancient machinery began moving. For the first time in 2 centuries, the first Space Orc awakened. Commander Titan. The strongest warrior humanity had ever created. The cryogenic seal released. Cold vapor flooded the room. Slowly, golden eyes opened. The giant stepped forward. The floor trembled beneath his weight. Marcus felt the familiar sensation every normal human experienced near a space orc. The feeling of standing beside a living force of nature. Titan looked around. His voice echoed through the chamber. Status. Marcus answered immediately. The galaxy is under attack. Titan's eyes narrowed. Enemy? Unknown casualties? Marcus hesitated. Billions. Silence filled the room. Then Titan asked a question that chilled everyone present. How long until Earth is threatened? Marcus checked the projections. The answer was not encouraging. 3 years. Titan looked toward the stars displayed on the wall. Then he spoke the words humanity had hoped never to hear. Wake them all. Far beyond known space, something ancient opened its eyes. It had consumed civilizations older than the stars. It had destroyed empires before Earth had evolved life. And now, it had discovered humanity. For the first time in millions of years, the Devourers would meet prey willing to fight back. To be continued in Chapter 2, The Awakening.